Right then. So we're going to do something pretty challenging here. Got the mini 7-iron made by Mazel. Seen these knocking around. Seen them on other videos. Last time I was doing a face strike drill, so I was working laterally across the face, so avoiding the hosel, the toe, with different setups, so setting outside the ball, inside the ball, to try and really challenge myself effectively to overcome visual interference, engaging that visual system in a way that won't normally be engaged on the course, because I'm not going to set up in those weird positions on the golf course very often, if ever. Although one can use those things to produce different shot shapes, different outcomes, different strike parameters. But this one's going to be challenging more the vertical control. I'm going to set up in increasingly more and more awkward spots to see if I can still make strikes with the ball. Now, with the club face, I'm using the mini 7-iron just to make things more difficult. This is hard enough, to be honest, with a regular club, but we might as well go all in here. I've done plenty of this practice over time with normal clubs and got okay at it. The reason I like this one in particular for me is that I find it so hard, and as I've talked about before, you want to make things difficult. If the drill's too easy, if you're getting success rate sort of 7 out of 10 or better, you're probably not learning that much, and we're always going to be looking to find the difficult things to, in effect, run towards them and force learning to happen through difficulty. We don't want to make it too difficult. If you make it too difficult, that you kind of go the other way, and you won't learn there either. But let's see how difficult we can make it. So, normal shot with one of these mini clubs isn't that tough. We'll try a little fade here. Little touch, small fade. I don't know if you'll see that on the camera, but it was okay. Reasonable strike. Not much power in that, but we're not worried about that. You know, I could, within reason, you can do that all day with this club, even though it's more difficult than a normal 7-iron. I found even high handicap players will eventually get used to the size of this head, and they'll probably start feeling quite confident with it over time. So let's change some of the variables. Let's think about vertical control. I'm going to set up above the ball. Now you'll see this hovering with the driver sometimes. Someone like DeChambeau does it. Ricky Fowler has this little bobble he does, lifts it up just before he hits it. It's not too uncommon to hover the driver, but most people don't. With a 7-iron, it wouldn't be common. Probably one or two people that do it. Maybe out of a bunker you might do it, but I'm just going to lift the club just a little bit off the ground to start with. It's kind of at the equator of the ball, let's say. It's going to just change some of the visuals and the feel of how I'm set up and try and get a reasonable strike on that. That was really nice. I was a bit picky, which you might expect. Possibly slightly higher than the other one. That was reasonable. And a bit of a test that we passed. So in this instance, we're not trying to hit the best 7 of our lives. Just trying to make reasonable contact with the ground, try not to top it, which will become increasingly hard. I wouldn't say a thin would be a win, but a thin might be a pass on this test. A top is very likely as we get this further and further away from the ball. So that was just a little elevation. Probably couldn't even tell on camera, but I'm just hovering it around the equator of the ball. We'll go a little bit higher. So now I'm just a little bit above the ball here. Slightly more challenging. Feels weird. Feels wrong. Let's see what we can do. Decent. Now that did feel like it was off the toe a touch, but who can say with this tiny club? Again, functional shot, acceptable. Not much of a divot, but picky. As Wood says, you know, maybe when you're playing your best, you won't take too many divots. But that was a win. That was definitely a win, and it wasn't too thin. So we're on a bit of a streak here. Now, if you want to really add pressure, you sort of see how far you can go with this and how many good shots in a row you can hit. Very quickly, you might find that it's harder than you think. But so we've gone from equator just above the ball. Now let's get a bit silly, right? So now we're going what I would feel like is something around mid shin. So I'm starting this mid shin. At this point, the likelihood of a top really takes hold. So there's things I can do. I can move the ball forward to just shift that low point, maybe give myself a bit more room for error, but I'm going to keep things fairly normal. Still probably trying to go for that fade, not that that matters. Just feels a bit more comfortable today. So we're going mid-shin. What we want to do is get a decent strike. Now, I did fat that slightly, but as odd as this sounds, I feel like a fat in this drill is kind of more encouraging than a thin, because it means I've made quite an adjustment there to avoid that likely top. I'm hopefully not going to miss the ball at any point today, but you never know. Halfway up the shins, trying to improve that slightly. I think I probably leaned back a bit on that, trying to overdo that. Low point control. That was the best one yet. That was, without a doubt, the best strike so far. Again, proof of some sort of learning perhaps. It might be just a look, but we'll take it. And what you might do is stay there for a bit, see how many times you can hit that successfully. But I'm gonna crank up the difficulty. Also, you don't want the video to go on too long. I'm gonna go up higher now. I'm gonna go up to knee height. This is tough now. It's gonna get tougher. Yeah, so I've got the club head roughly what feels like knee height. I don't know if I've got that right. The video might show that or not. This is not, it's like almost a side hill lie start, or a very extreme side hill lie start, but one where you're gonna try and get back down into the ball. Any sort of contact is somewhat of a win for some people, but let's try and get a decent one. And there's the thin one. All right, we didn't top it. The very bottom of the club. No divot as you saw, I don't believe. But that's what you'd expect. So now we have to shift our focus. Now, all sorts of things we can do. Talked about ball position, focus. I'm going now to try and think about chunking this. Now that might sound really weird to some people, but I'm hoping that slight feel of hitting the ground first, if I'm going to be biased towards a thin, will bring us closer to the ground. And it didn't. So now we found a point of a tough test, right? This is difficult for me. I have done this successfully before, but it's been a while. So I'm going to get onto that knee height focus, and we're going to stay here for a little while. See if we can start to produce a better result. There we go. Again, a little bit out of the toe. That might have been a touch fat, I don't know. It's gone reasonably far. It's probably, over 150 yards. Hard to say. Obviously range balls, and God knows what the loft is on this thing. But that's a win. So we had thin, and then a positive one. The question is, do I want to do another one? Maybe. Maybe we'll try one more time, or we'll go crazy. So that was knee height. Let's go hip height. Let's just make it harder now. So to get this in any way feeling like a golf swing, I have to really reroute things, because I'm starting from, I don't know, we're almost at baseball level, not quite, but that's what it feels like. You can do things with the shaft as well. You can start with different sort of deviations on the wrist. I think just go with what's comfortable to start with, and then if you get really good at this, you build new things in. But I'm going to start at hip height. It's going to make me feel like I want to go right around my body, so if we kind of pull it or hook it, who cares? But we're hip height. Try and make any sort of decent strike on this ball's a win. That was unbelievable. That really did feel like some version of baseball. Not that I've really played much baseball, but any American viewers, you can rate my baseball. That was tough, but we got it first time, which is interesting, because that should in theory have been harder than the one before. And the one before we didn't get first time, but maybe there's some learning happening. Maybe it was luck. There is luck in golf, so there we are. Let's go max out, all right? I would say this is close. I mean, there might be a level above this, which you'll explore. I'm gonna go shoulder height, all right? So I'm gonna start the club, the height of my shoulders. I'm gonna try and replicate what I just did, which was a pretty nice strike. This feels wild. There's literally almost, I can't imagine ever having a shot like this out of a tree perhaps, but I'm out of the tree, I'm going to stay up there, right? So I'm going out of the tree, down into the ground. Let's see what we can do. Trying to kill anyone. That's what we'd expect. But we made contact, we didn't miss the ball. Actually, I don't think I've ever tried this from such a height. Maybe once before. Can we get this? Add a bit of pressure. It'd be nice if I could get a reasonable strike within 3 shots here. Wouldn't necessarily expect to do it first time. Certainly wouldn't expect to do it every time. Let's try it. Really testing our focus here. Can we focus on just making contact with that ball? Oh, that was amazing. I think I chunked it a touch. Yeah, it didn't go that far, but that was really good adjustment. Hopefully some of that flight can be seen on the video. It doesn't really matter too much, but you can hear the sound slightly better. Can we go crazy? Right, head height. Got a bit of a dodgy wrist, so this might not be great, but hopefully anyone watching this doesn't copy this without knowing what's going on. Hopefully no lightning arrives. So we're going to start head height. Try and make a strike, get some of this ground out of the way. That was close, shanked it. But that wasn't bad. Ground contact was okay, right? Not as concerned with the face strike. Would have been nice not to shank it. I don't usually shank it, funnily enough. I'm a toe bias player, but that was okay. So if we can just get one a bit more toey on this. All the rest was good. Head height, test your shoulder mobility this. We're at that basket. Oh my word, that was it. Okay. That's probably the furthest shot I've hit. I'm not going to go any further. Don't have the shoulder mobility for it. But there's a crazy drill you can try. I'd start with a normal club. Maybe even start with a wedge, something like that. A bit more control. Max difficulty would be maybe like a 2-iron or something. Obviously the big head of the driver could help you there. Maybe an old driver. I got that mini club driver. Don't know if that's ever on the cards to be able to do this consistently with that club, but you never know. But yeah, graduate towards smaller and smaller implements, harder and harder clubs, but you'll find that just makes you focus, test your coordination, and though you won't exactly use that on the golf course very often, it'll make normal shots feel a heck of a lot easier.